What's up, people? Welcome to another episode of JT and Liz. I'm your girl. Who am I? I am. It's been a day. I'm so sorry. I'm your girl, Jasmine T, and this is my co host,
Liz.
Yes, we are two friends who met abroad while teaching English in South Korea, but we both live back in the US, unfortunately. But we do talk about our lives abroad all the time, and we figured we talk about it so much, might as well talk about it with you. So today's topic, kind of a serious one. Today's topic is anti-tourism and anti-gentrification. All right, let me get serious. So we've seen growing frustration in places like Barcelona, Lisbon, and Mexico City, just to name a few. These popular destinations where locals are becoming increasingly vocal about the effects of overtourism and foreign migration on their everyday lives. Since we on this channel are often encouraging people to move abroad, especially if it's something that you've always dreamed about, I think it's also important to talk about how we do that thoughtfully. Is it even possible to live in popular areas and not contribute to some of these issues that we are seeing? Now, while these protests aren't exactly new, the coordination and intensity are ramping up, and so are the questions. What happens when communities start to feel pushed out, and what role do we as expats or long-term visitors play in that? So that's what I wanted to open up for discussion today. Elizabeth, you got thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I'll admit I had to, I didn't hear anything about these protests.
Mm-hmm.
So it did make me think, is that something I've been conscious about when I've been traveling and when I have lived overseas? And of course, naturally, I want to say that I haven't contributed to that issue,
Mm-hmm.
but you never know. So, I mean, I'm sure when we talk, some things might be, I might get enlightened in some ways, and it might make me just reevaluate the ways that I'm moving,
Mm-hmm.
or especially since I do have this move coming up.
Right.
Yeah.
Are we saying where you're moving? Like, have we confirmed that, or are we
Um,
waiting for an update?
I don't know. We'll. I don't want to say too much right now,
All
but
right, we're waiting. I can
yeah.
see that. I think that you make a very good point. As you know, when you're moving about, you might not have been conscious of some ways that you contributed. I know I wasn't.
Yeah.
And I will say, you know, this really caught my attention. Of course, I'm seeing the videos and stuff like that on Facebook. I'm seeing things on YouTube. I'm still in the groups for expats in Mexico City. I think it's like foreigners and expats in Mexico City, the black mexpats, still in those groups. So
Hmm.
of course, I'm seeing the videos and it looks pretty intense. They have escalated to violence. I'm seeing them in the neighborhoods of Roma and Condesa.
Hmm.
And y'all, today is July 29th. I'm pretty sure the last one was July 26th.
Yeah.
And I realized that as I'm seeing videos and reading articles, I was like, all right, this is still the news. This is still media, right? So
Hmm.
let me go to the Facebook groups and see what the people who are living there actually have to say, right? And so I made sure to do that as well and just kind of see, um, I guess, like, are people feeling uneasy in these
Hmm.
places? Are they feeling unsafe in these places or uncomfortable? I'm saying a lot of synonyms. I'm sorry. So, yeah, but I want to say that because I am someone who is very much interested in going to Portugal and has been since 2021, and there is also the housing crisis in Portugal, um, and I'm seeing shifts in how, like I said, these anti-tourism and anti-gentrification groups are coming together,
Hmm.
even in like Southern Europe as well,
Yeah.
Spain, Italy, Portugal, and I see the shifts that are happening, right?
Hmm.
So we begin to see Barcelona, for example, is phasing out short-term rental licenses, and they should be phased out by 2028. Venice has proposed tourist caps and booking systems to control the number of visitors at a time in specific areas. And cities like Lisbon are seeing political shifts to prioritize locals and increase affordable housing for residents. And while all of that is good, I'm like, but how do I fit in still before y'all change everything? And so
Yeah.
I was just like that. Those feelings are clashing. Like, I
Hmm.
understand. Like, those people, the residents, the locals should have rights to first dibs on everything. You know what I mean? But I'm also like, but I don't want to stay here.
Yeah. Does that make you reconsider where you want to go?
Oh man, it should, right? So that's part of the conversation today. Like, how can we be thoughtful about where
Yeah.
we move, especially in areas that are seeing um, these types of issues and
Yeah.
disturbances, you know? And one of those things is to maybe you can, stay off the beaten path or a lesser known city or whatnot.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah, I've really been dreaming about Porto.
You have for a very long time.
I really have. And so, and you know what else? I was talking to someone that's currently in Portugal, and I was just like, I brought up that golden visa that I brought up episodes ago. I was talking about the golden visa that you could get residency based on a real estate investment. Now, when I first started looking at 2020, at Portugal in 2021, it was a thing. When I visited in 2022, it was a thing. They got rid of it in 2023.
Ooh.
So that kind of triggered something in me. I was just like, yeah, they closing, bruh. They're
Wow.
shifting. They're closing how things are happening. And right now, the easiest entry, or like the least barrier to entry, is the D7, that passive income visa to Portugal.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
really, Portugal, because out of Spain, out of Greece, out of Italy, they have the lowest financial threshold. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
like, oh, I want to go to Portugal just because. It's like, that's where I'm getting in where I fit in, you know?
Right. Right.
Um, so yeah. And so because, because I still want to go,
Right.
I'm like, let's talk about how we can do that
Right.
respectfully. So do you want to what are some things
Um,
that we could do?
so I was thinking about this when we first decided on this topic, and I was like, okay, well, and I kind of already do this anyway, but just make sure, like, when I'm spending my money, like, I'm going to, like, the mom and pop spots, like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
spending my money there instead of, like, looking for, like, the international store or stuff like that. But I kind of done stuff like that already. But in situations like this where they're actively like, we don't want you here, would that
Mm-hmm.
even matter? Like, would that even help? Like, I'm shopping at your store though. Like I don't
It's
know if that if just like your presence still is
mm-hmm.
going to be an issue. It don't matter where you're spending your money if they don't want you there. So I'm curious, as we discuss this, if it really depends on the country, if
Mm-hmm.
whether or not these tips could be applied and be helpful. Like, would this be helpful in Mexico right now with all of this
Gotcha. And so
happening? I
that's,
don't know.
like I said, the videos I saw, I mean, people were literally tagging, Kill a Gringo, right?
Oh my
On,
goodness, like,
yeah.
yes.
So
See, I
I
wouldn't
was,
even go if I seen that. I'd be like,
so,
all right, y'all got it. We
but see,
good.
Elizabeth, that's the news, right? So those are the videos. So that's why I thought it was important to go into the Facebook groups and see what people are saying, right? And it
Uh-huh.
was mixed reviews, right? Some
Right.
people are like, yeah, there was some vandalism in Roma and Cadessa, but my kids are there, they're fine. You know what I mean? And one person was
Mm.
like, I it made me snap out of how comfortable I was, but maybe I
Uh-huh.
shouldn't have been that comfortable in the first place, you know? And
Hmm.
then some people are like, as long as you speak the language and you effing try, you will still be embraced, you know? So, and that's kind of the sentiment at least I was reading.
Hmm.
But the internet caters to different
Yeah.
groups. So it's
Yeah.
like what I saw was, it's the over tourism,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
But again, yeah, the whole housing thing, I don't know. That's a whole nother conversation. But
Yeah.
it seems like, show up respectful.
Right.
Um, and we'll talk about it in some of the like thoughtful behaviors,
Yeah.
we can express or whatnot. But I mean, there could be that sentiment. You might run into somebody who's like, we don't want you here at
Right.
all,
Right.
which you could also run into that in America. But
You know what? Go back where you came from. Yeah, you right.
yeah. So all right. But yeah, and speaking of, we're talking about ways that we might have contributed before, and I know that I definitely contributed when I went to Mexico City in 2021. Like I said, those the protests, the ones that I saw that were happening this month, were in Roma and Condesa, and I stayed in Colonia Juarez, which was right next door to Roma or Condesa, one of them, right? So it was like right in the mix. And the first two places, I did 2 Airbnbs to figure out what neighborhood, just exploring. And then I wanted to do a still a short term, but I did a 3-month lease, and I did it in Colonia Juarez. And it was, I want to say it was listed at 900 USD or whatever. And they let me know that somebody else was interested in it. And we both overbid on it. So I bid $950 per month, and she bid $1,000 per month. Oh, wow. But because I wanted 3 months and she wanted 1 month, they said mine was the better, deal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I was bidding against another short-term, visitor.
Yeah.
So if you got
probably betting against local.
Yeah, so they weren't even in the mix. You know what I mean? If we're raising the prices up on ourselves, right? So yeah. My bad. So all right. So what are some, like you said, what are some of the options, and how can we add when we go places instead of take away, right? And so I have my notes together. We're just going to go through the list, and if anything y'all can add, please let us know. All right, please add in the comments. So, for example, learn the context, take time to understand the history and culture of the neighborhood you're living in. Learn how things like tourism, rising rents, and foreign demand have impacted the area over the years, right? If you must go to one of those popular destinations, or again, maybe look at something off the beaten path if the visa situation still works. Yeah. Any comments on that before I go to the next one?
No, I think that's a legit point. Why are you laughing?
I'm just laughing because I know that this topic, I've been I sprung this topic on you like a few hours ago, and I've been thinking about this topic for like 2 days. So I got like a whole essay.
Yeah, I mean, my points aren't as like organized, and a lot of them are kind of like, well, there's this, but then like there's also this. Like, for example, like I know in some places, like I told you in a past video, I learned like to watch to see how much other people are paying for stuff, and then I pay too, so I know I'm not getting ripped off. And but then there's other places where it's like I hear it's okay to haggle, so I'm haggling. So now I'm like, is that okay to do now? And if it's not, should we be okay with taking the L of just being banged in the head, paying a little more for something because of what's happening? You know what I'm saying?
I think there's a difference. Ooh. All right. So them taking advantage of you versus you taking advantage of them.
Yeah. So
instead of y'all just being on the same.
Yeah. So when it comes to stuff like that, it's like, so if you do go to a place, where those places in Mexico or in Europe where they're having a lot of these issues, and you go to buy something and it's overpriced, so you just be like, let me just take this L because I know the climate right now, or you haggling, or you just not buying.
I think maybe is it local, or is it...
If you buying for somebody local, but it's overpriced, are you going to buy anyway, just take the L? Or are you not going to buy at all? Or are you going to haggle?
If I know it's overpriced?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Because, I mean, now I'm thinking about that apartment I didn't know was over. I just knew that was the market. And I knew that somebody, like, that's what I wanted. That's what I was going to get. But if we're talking about a scarf, you
just feel like, I don't want this scarf, whatever.
I'm like, I think it depends. I hear exactly what you're saying, but I think it's
because it's on that level they feel it. I mean, yeah, on that level too. Like people are buying, renting apartments and buying
Mm-hmm.
properties, but also on those level too. Like I know this orange is not $1.
Mm-hmm.
Am I gonna spend the dollar
Spend the dollar.
anyway?
That's what I'll just say spend the dollar. That's yeah, spend the dollar. If you know, if the whoever got it down the street, if the local got it for 50 cents, just spend a dollar. It
But
that
what if it's three for $1? You still gonna spend $1?
yeah, I'm okay. I'm not as frugal as you. See, and that you know what? Actually, you should stop haggling because you would probably get on people's nerves. If you're like Elizabeth, just pay it, okay? Because then you're gonna ruin it for all of us. That's who they talking about. They talking about you. Yeah, just pay it. Just pay it. Especially if it's still, that's the thing, like, because you go into these spaces, and I know I did in Warsaw, oh, this is cheap to me. You know?
Mm-hmm.
If it's
Yeah.
still cheap to you, just
Okay.
come on, man.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe that's it. Yeah, because I was gonna say don't overpay. I was saying don't overpay on rent, but yeah. Or if you and basically we're also talking about supporting mom and pop shops, but also local accommodations too, because the
Yeah.
Airbnbs can oh
Right.
god. The Airbnbs can be ran
Mm-hmm.
by corporations. I don't know
Yeah.
what I be talking
Right.
about. So, and of course, speak the language.
Yeah.
Try.
Yeah.
It could be broken, and it's like there's nothing like even if you and someone else don't speak the same language, but they see you try, you could
Yeah.
just see the mood
Yeah.
change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Your Uber driver automatically becomes a teacher,
Yeah.
because they're willing to help.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, if you just try, and that was kind of my concern about Portugal is
Mm-hmm.
because some of them words, so the phonetics. I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna have trouble with the phonetics, but
Mm.
I'll do what I gotta do.
Yeah.
Um,
Try.
yeah.
Now, here's something else I thought about. Do you think, like when people like YouTube and record and just like film and stuff, the way like we be filming, sorry, now I can't talk, filming and the way other people film and stuff, do you think that contributes to maybe the annoyance or
Mm-hmm.
these feelings that the locals may have when it comes to foreigners and expats or whatever?
One of the articles I read,
Mm-hmm.
and I think this was Venice, is that we are not your backdrop.
Yeah,
We are a community, and I think that's the
I
thing
could see
too.
that because Venice is so the whole place is photogenic. Like
Gotcha.
literally,
I haven't been.
I
You been?
have. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
Gotcha.
In that regard, I'm guilty because I mean, and you take a selfie anywhere, it just looks like, and it's just clothes hanging,
Mm-hmm.
air drying, but it's just not.
You taking pictures of people's laundry in
No,
front of people's
no,
laundry?
no. So
Okay.
in between buildings,
Oh,
there's
okay.
lines. And in the backdrop, there's towels hanging and stuff, and you might be posing in between some buildings for a picture, and it just looks nice.
I can see that. If I'm going out to get my laundry off the clothesline and I see that, I'd be like, look, bruh,
Yeah,
can y'all, not the alleys.
yeah,
Like, y'all
Yeah.
everywhere.
yeah. I was.
But
in
see,
the
and that's what I'm
alley.
saying. And like, because so I'm in Charlotte, and I'm not going to compare Charlotte's gentrification to an entire city. I mean,
Right.
like I
Yeah,
see
yeah,
little
yeah.
pockets, neighborhoods, and
Yeah.
certain things of Charlotte getting erased. But I'm not a Charlottean. Like I
Yeah.
don't. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, they're erasing this neighborhood called Plaza Midwood. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
can only imagine. Well, yeah, I can only imagine
Yeah.
that feeling. I'm sure is compounded. Is that the word I want
Yeah.
to say? Or
I was
multiplied.
thinking about that in some regard, like, and trying to find a connection. Like, initially I could feel the connection when I started really thinking about it, like how, yeah, this can be annoying and frustrating, but just trying to tie it to personal experiences, like in New York, Like there was some, I remember having feelings like just walking down the street and getting annoyed because the tourists, they're just walking slow, they looking around at the buildings, and I'm like, y'all need a separate lane or something. Like, I have somewhere to go, like a
Mm-hmm.
separate side of the sidewalk, just something so you're out the way. Because
Yeah.
yeah, you're on vacation, but I have to work. I have places to go, and you're slowing me down. You're in the way. I
Mm-hmm.
don't like this. So, and
Yeah.
that's a small, comparison. Of course, there's other stuff, but like I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So,
we still want to go. So it's
well, I will tell you one thing though. Just me. I let's just say I wanted to go to a Venice, and then I
mm-hmm.
realized that they're having issues like this with tourists and expats. That would be off my list now. I would be like, all
Mm.
right, well, I mean, there's other places in the world. Like, I gotta find somewhere else. 'Cause I don't. I want to. Like, I'm going somewhere else for a more carefree, easy life. I don't want to go into this.
Right.
Like, this is not what I want to go into. So if I know there's a air of this, like you guys are feeling this way, I'm not even going to do that to myself because I'm not trying to find out if it's true or not.
Understood.
So I would just go somewhere else if it's like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I have thought about this in regards to Korea, and I was like, I don't ever remember feeling that way. Like, oh, they
I didn't feel
don't
that way
want.
in Poland.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
We're saying, I mean, because even Warsaw, any demonstrations I saw, it felt very, within Poland. Like
yeah,
the women's strike kobieta. There was a school strike at some point, and that's the thing too. I'd be walking around like, oh, ain't got nothing to do with me, just keep trucking, And so, but that's the thing too.
yeah,
That's also on the list. Being a part of the community.
yeah.
So reflect on why you're going and how long you plan to stay. Get to know your neighbors, learn their names, follow local news. I never followed the local news. I don't follow it hardly here. I mean, if
Yeah.
I here, you kind of can't escape it,
Yeah.
because it just
Yeah.
pops up on your phone, everything,
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't really follow the local news, and I'm like, okay, that is probably something I could
Yeah.
try to participate in.
Yeah.
I knew people's names. Like I had my
Yeah.
have my
Yeah.
regulars that I go visit
Yeah.
with the shops
This
and
time
stuff.
around, I'm definitely learning the language. That's one thing I told myself. So when I was thinking, I was like, not learning the language is kind of like, I'm gonna learn it this time. And I talk about this like I was gonna learn. That was a plan this time around. Like, if we go, I'm gonna learn. So
Okay.
now that I know, I'm like, I'm gonna learn. So thinking about that now in regards to this, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing the right thing. I'm
So I know we
maturing.
said we're not okay. So we haven't said for sure because you be switching it up on me. I never know where you're moving. I know it's one of two places, and so I'm not gonna say the language that I think you're gonna learn simply
Uh-huh.
because we're not
Yeah.
confirming,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Okay.
We're not going to confirm or deny anything as of
Okay.
yet.
You be killing me, bro. Okay. And last but not least, well, actually, be a part of the community was supposed to be last. I skipped one. Remember, you're a guest. This isn't your city to reshape. Be
Yeah.
aware of how you move through public spaces, how loud you are, and how you treat people.
Yeah.
And I 100% agree with that. If if I hear somebody being loud, speaking English or whatever, I'll just be like, ugh.
Making us look bad. Yeah.
But yeah. All right. That's pretty much all I got. You got anything else?
Well, I was thinking about something too. Um, who do you think? Who do you think they're upset with the most? Are they upset with expats or tourists or like developers? Like I
And they're
feel like everybody's equally, or is it like, do you feel like expats, they get more heat because they're more tangible? Like I see you every day coming out of your apartment. You're like you're the person I can express this anger to. Is it the tourist? Like you're gonna be gone in a few days. Like you're the issue. And then you could see something being developed, but it's just like who do you target? Like you don't know exactly who that person is, that corporation is. Like they're not tangible. Like so, who do you think is more of the issue when it comes to this?
I mean, as far as like the developers, they're building because there is a demand. And they're also building because they're giving the license and permits to do so. So that's what I'm saying too, is like, you would also, when we're talking about the shifts that we're seeing, we're also seeing these shifts from like political shifts, right?
Yeah.
So of course they're doing these protests. They have heat on their government, on their officials or whatnot. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's been for some time, you know, because when I'm going back, it's like protests 2017, protests before, you know what I mean? Like this has been happening for some time, and that's what I'm saying. Like they're not new, but there's this it's called the Southern, it's the acronym is SET, but Southern Europe something against tourism or whatnot, and they're like organized across Southern Europe. So I'll put it in the below or whatnot, but yeah, I think there needs to be some type of government control, so we won't, like, if that D7 income, you know, passive income visa didn't exist, I wouldn't be able to go the way, or else I'd have to work or something.
Get married. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to figure out something else, or look at another country, right? Listen, I understand it's an important topic. I do, and like I said, I just want to try to do it thoughtfully.
Yeah,
but it is something to talk about because we are encouraging people to leave and go elsewhere.
Right.
So let us know in the comments, how do you lessen your impact on tourism and gentrification? Very serious question. Anything else, Elizabeth?
No.
All right. Thank y'all so much for watching, and we'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.